Emergency is a one-man play in which I play 43 different characters. There is an unexpected emergence in front of the Statue of Liberty that sends New York City into a whirlwind. And the play is an exploration of what it means to be free.
A slave ship has just risen out of the Hudson River in front of the Statue of Liberty. People across Manhattan are leaving their homes and jobs to witness what many are calling some deep stuff. I was laying here trying to get me some sleep when out of nowhere I hear this loud rush of water and see this harsh, blinding light. It make me close my eyes real tight. Then when I open them again, there's this big, huge ship standing right here in front of the Statue of Liberty, all old and worn down looking.
The idea was rooted in my desire to really explore the question of what it means to be free. And it started for a couple of reasons. It started because of my fascination with the solo form. I studied a lot of the work of Whoopi Goldberg and John Leguizamo and Eric Bogosian. And then I also was very interested in just this concept because of things that had happened in my own life growing up. And while the show is not autobiographical, I use sort of my personal stories and things that I have observed to create the characters. I was very interested in, a lot of solo shows can be, sort of the poor me, oh, my life was so hard type of things. And I have had enough of those experiences that I could write that kind of show. But I was actually interested in exploring sort of some larger concepts and really exploring the American landscape, our humanity through the lens of the African American experience. I'm constantly rewriting the show. The show, because it is social political, it has to be influenced by what's going on in the world. So I began rewriting about 6 months ago, working with my director, Charles Randolph Wright, who's actually done a lot of projects out here that have been very successful. He did a project, Divas Dismissed, with Jennifer Lewis, and he had two very well-received plays at Pasadena Playhouse, Cutting Up and Blue. So he's a playwright as well as a director, so he's been a wonderful eye and a wonderful person for me to sort of reflect what I'm writing off of. And I'm really excited about what we're doing now. I feel confident it's the best production of the play that I will have had to date.
A long time coming, but I know a change is gonna come when we connect, disconnect, connect, reconnect, connect, connect, connect. As I teach my students in class, we hear a loud bang. They immediately duck, and I stand in shock as a man lies slain on the block in front of our school.
Well, when I first started this play, I've since written other plays and screenplays and even a musical, but it really was an extension of my creativity as a performer. So when I first wrote the characters, I was not convinced that anyone would be interested. And I was actually performing Benedict and Much Ado at Shakespeare Theater Company in the Berkshires, and about performance 40 out of about 60, I was just out of my mind. And one of my friends encouraged me to put some of these characters onto the stage. And I remember the first night I did it, and the audience jumped to their feet and, were so moved. And I was shocked. I was like, do you all really care about these ideas and these wacky characters? And so that was about 5 years ago. And I have not worked on this project exclusively, but what I would do is that I would, do a showcase of the play and invite friends or industry people, and then they'd be excited and invite other people, and it just spiraled from there. And then Ruby Dee, who was just nominated for Academy Award for American Gangster, has been a huge champion of my work, and she saw me perform in an off Broadway house, and she then began to present me different places, and that eventually led to the run we had at the Public Theater off Broadway that was a huge success there and led me here.
It's all about freedom, liberate your mind. When you look inside, you find the truth of who you are. Eh? Your name Freddie, alright me on time. Yeah, man, me seen you sitting on the stoop before, always with that fine woman.
There's a slave ship that rides in front of the Statue of Liberty, and I use it as a metaphor for a larger question of what stands in front of our freedom as human beings of every race. And I do because slavery is the metaphor, delve into some historical aspects of slavery. And it's always shocking to me how much it's not taught, how little people know. I remember that the story of Egypt, to me, even when I was in school, Egypt was not taught as a country that was in Africa. You know, Egypt was just taught as Egypt with this great history. And I think it's important for every people to have a concept of a past that's empowered and dynamic, you know. And so it's challenging for children for black children to only have their past to begin with slavery, you know, and for a lot of the story of what black children are taught, that's where it begins. So the play, you know, delves in some stories about Africa before the time of slavery. That's a small aspect of it. Stories about how slavery manifested in this country. We talk about some of that as well. There's a lot of different ways that the possibility of freedom or a new way of seeing it is introduced in the play.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. They taught us about Egypt, the pyramids and stuff, right? Yeah, but nothing about Africa. Egypt is in Africa? You mean them people was black? See, I told you, Clarissa. Shut up, Peter.
I am a slaveologist from Ghana, West Africa. During the time of the civil rights movement here in your country, we in Africa looked to black America as inspiration as we fought for independence at home. And 40 years later, we are still looking, but the picture is much different.
I can't tell you how many people are saying this show is so important, it's so important, especially right now. And, you know, I always say that Barack and Hillary, they've already changed the world just in seeing these two people run for this office, and all the little girls and little black boys and all children in general who are seeing these two people in the media running for our nation's highest office. And my play explores the issues of race, and I try to do it in a way that's about starting conversation and bringing community together. And a lot of times I find that because people are uncomfortable or we're afraid, there are conversations that we'll only have in the comfort of our private communities, but we have to begin to have those conversations across communities. And so this play is definitely an effort to do that, and that's also being mirrored in this campaign. The message for me is very clear. It's that we are all connected, and that though we're all afraid and all confused, to have some of these conversations and to look at some of these issues, that our ultimate freedom, joy, coming together as a society is rooted in us being able to have these conversations, and that there are ways to have the conversations that are playful and fun and touch the heart and inspire us to possibility. So that's what I really am endeavoring to communicate.
Yes, emotions are high as people from all walks of life pour into Liberty Island. One group calling themselves PON, Pissed Off Negroes, have brought tents and rifles and vowed to shoot anybody who try to move this ship. What? Yes, let's get some more live, on-the-spot feedback from the crowd gathering here at Liberty Island.
Slave ship. I thought this was the new Carnival cruise.